Okay, there is a concept of when is the terminal velocity reached. So for example, if we have a tank and this is filled with liquid, let's say it is water, and there is a heavy ball that we are releasing it from here. It's a heavy metal ball. And so the question is, we release the ball from rest, okay, and we know that it's going to achieve terminal velocity. But when? And after covering how much distance? Okay. So you know that in case of terminal velocity, the net force is 0. But when is that terminal velocity reached, at what time, and after covering what distance? For that, we have to consider the time when it has not yet reached terminal velocity. So let's say the ball has traveled some distance x and it has achieved some velocity v, which is not the maximum velocity, the terminal velocity, but it is less than the terminal velocity. Let's say the velocity is v right now and it is increasing at a rate of dv by dt. So you have to get this dv by dt. Alright, so let's draw its free body diagram. So if its free body diagram will consist of buoyant force, which is density of liquid into volume of solid into g, whereas the mg force, the gravitational force, is density of solid into volume of solid into g, and then there is a drag force of 6 pi neta rv. So when the forces have not yet balanced, the downward force is still larger than the upward force because it is creating acceleration. So the rho s vsg minus rho l vsg minus 6 pi neta rv. So you can write this as rho s minus rho l into vsg minus 6 pi neta rv, and that is the net force. Now that force can be written as mass into, this is the downward force, alright. This net force I have written as downward force, which is mass multiplied by downward acceleration. So we can say that m into dv by dt is equal to, so let's call this as some constant k, and let's call this as some constant c. Both are constants, so k minus cv. So dv by k minus cv is equal to, and there is a m also, so now we can integrate both the sides. So upon integrating both the sides, we get integration of dv by k minus cv. Actually, these all things are not required at this level, but unnecessarily, like what we can say. So if you integrate, you will get minus 1 by c ln of k minus cv minus ln of k after putting the limits is equal to dt by m. And so we get ln of k minus cv by k is equal to, and this integration of dt will give us t minus ct by m. So 1 minus cv by k is equal to e raised to minus ct by m, or this v is equal to k by c 1 minus e raised to minus ct by m. If you have already studied the curve plotting in mathematics, you will see that this is a exponential kind of function. So this is v versus t, and the graph will be like this, which means that only when t tends to infinity, the terminal velocity will be reached. Now when is the terminal velocity? When net force is 0. So net force is k minus cv. When is the net force 0? When k minus cv is 0. So k minus cv is 0 means k equal to cv, or v equal to k by c. So this is the terminal velocity, v terminal. You know what are k and c? I have already defined. So k by c is v terminal. But when is this velocity becoming k by c, the terminal velocity? Only when t tends to infinity. Because only when you put t tends to infinity, this term that you can see here, this term will be decreasing to 0, and so this velocity will become k by c. As far as the questions are considered which are given in the viscosity topic, those questions can be attempted even without this mathematics. So which of the following graph best represent the motion of the raindrop, velocity versus time? See, we know that velocity is increasing, but then the rate at which velocity is increasing is decreasing, as I have already explained in the class, that as the time progresses the drag force increases, and so a time comes when the driving force and drag force become same. But before that instant, driving force was more than the drag force, and that is the reason the ball was accelerating. So what is the net acceleration equal to? Driving force minus drag force by mass. And what is happening to this acceleration? Driving force is constant, drag force is slowly catching up. So the difference between the two, driving minus drag, is decreasing, and so the acceleration is decreasing. Acceleration is decreasing, but it is still positive, and so velocity increases, but not as at that high rate at which it was increasing initially. So the correct option will be C, because you see the velocity versus time graph is like this, and the slope is representing acceleration. Initially the acceleration is high, and slowly as the drag force keeps catching up with the driving force, the acceleration tends to become zero. Which of the following is incorrect graph for the sphere falling in a viscous liquid? So A is correct. Just now I explained velocity will increase, but the rate at which the velocity is increasing is decreasing, because the acceleration is decreasing, because the net force is decreasing, because the drag force is increasing, because of the velocity increasing, and that is caused by the driving force increase in velocity. Acceleration is decreasing. Again I have explained this, that initially there is an acceleration, but slowly the acceleration keeps decreasing over time until it will become zero. Okay, acceleration versus velocity, you know, to be a straight line, because I've already explained here that this is the acceleration. So you can see here that the equation that we have got is ma is equal to k minus cv. So acceleration is k by m minus c by m into v. So acceleration versus velocity, all other things are constant, is a straight line. So a versus v is a straight line. So C is wrong. As far as D is considered, okay. Initially the rate at which x is increasing is less, but as the velocity keeps increasing, as the time keeps increasing, the velocity keeps increasing. So slope of xt curve keeps increasing, but a time will come when velocity will become constant, and velocity becoming constant means slope becoming constant of xt graph, and slope becoming constant happens in case of this asymptote. So D option is correct. As far as question number 19th is considered, displacement of the falling ball from rest in a viscous medium is plotted against time. Choose the possible options. So that is already, so 18th D and 19th D are same only. So since 18th D is correct, so 19th D is also correct. So these are the question number 18, 19th and 20th. So apply logic and get the answer. That's it. See, that is what all physics is all about. How do we analyze the motion? How do we check whether acceleration is increasing or acceleration is decreasing? How to check whether acceleration is positive or negative? How to check whether velocity is increasing or decreasing? How to check? So all these things are what only called analysis part. Other things is called idiotic formula substitution, bullshit nonsense part. So don't concentrate on unnecessary idiotics, but try to understand and focus on the basics.